Hello party people, this is Shandip Mandash, a full stack web developer. Today I am excited to bag on your skin with a new video of this series of tutorial NextJs authentication with NextAuth. As you know, we have already shared the video on how you can set up NextJs boilerplate, how you can implement the NextAuth with the Mongoose, how you can design multiple forms like login form, registration form, forget password form with the Tailwind and the React Hook form. So today this video not only to design the front end, also we will implement the NextAuth with the default auth provider like Google and GitHub. So without further delay, let's dive into the video. But before that, if you are new on the channel, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit the notification bell. This way you will stay updated all of my videos. Today we'll follow these 8 steps to configure the default auth like Google and GitHub. So first of all, we will set up the Google API, and then we will set up the Google GitHub API. Then we will generate the NextAuth secret key, and after that we will configure the .env file, and then we will configure NextAuth, and finally we will integrate the auth provider like Google and GitHub. And end of the video we will test it. So I hope this video is going to rock. So first thing first, let's go to Google. And inside the console, I will go to API and services, and after that we'll go credentials. Here I will create credentials and auth client ID. Application type should be web application, and here I'll provide the application name. So this is NextAuth. Click on create. Here is my client ID and client secret. So, and I will go to the .env file. Here I will write Google client ID and Google secret key. So same time I will copy this and paste it here. Also the client secret, I will copy this and paste it here. And go to the GitHub. Inside the GitHub, I will go to my settings. I will go settings. Here you will find the developer settings, and after that we will find the OAuth apps. Here you will find the new OAuth app on the top right side. The new OAuth app, application name, so regarding the callback URL, we will add the, let's say, localhost 3000 and the API auth, callback GitHub, and register application. So here is my client ID. I'm going to copy it. Yeah, so this should be Google GitHub client ID. GitHub client ID and GitHub client secret. So I'll generate a new client secret, but they will ask me password. So let me put my password. So here is my client secret. I just copy it and replace with the dummy. Also, regarding the Google client ID, we will move to the Google, and same time I will add the authorized directory URL to like this. Sorry. Yeah, I will just replace with the Google. So guys, our Google and GitHub API creation is completed. So next, generate NextAuth secret. So we will not use any dummy secret key here. We will create highly secure secret key for our project. So I'm going to open my browser and open the terminal here. Here I will run my Node.js. You can see I am calling the require. I'm requiring the crypto, and the random bytes should be 64, and the converted string should be hex. So secret key generation is completed. I just copy it and go to next.secret and next.auth. So friends, our Google API, GitHub API, and NextAuth secret key, even our env configuration is completed. Now I will move to the next phase, which is NextAuth configuration. So let's move to the folder structure of our project. So inside the folder structure, I will move into the app folder, and here I will create a folder called API. So dear friends, what I have done here, I have created a folder inside the SRC directory, SRC app directory. So directory structure like app, and then we have created a folder API. After that, we have created a folder called Auth, and then we have created another folder. This is called NextAuth, and then we have created a file. This is route.ts. Okay, now we are working on route.ts file. So guys, here in this code, I have imported the GitHub provider and the Google provider. Also, for the Typescript, we have called the NextAuth options, and the auth options, the variable, this should be exported by a handler, and handler can call for get and also can call for post. So since we have already declared the GitHub provider and the Google provider, we will call the client ID and client secret from the .env file. So to calling the .env file, we can write like process.env.github. This is the GitHub client ID. Since you can see, still the client ID getting an error, the type is string, undefined is not assignable to type string. So to fix this issue, we can call as a string. And same way, we can write the client secret. So the client secret should be this client secret. And for the GitHub, yeah. So this client ID should be Google client ID. And the client secret should be so different. You can see we have implemented the Google client ID and Google client secret, and same time the GitHub provider also we call the client ID and client secret. So next we have to call the adapter and the secret key. To calling the adapter, we can write like sorry, this should be before. So I think you remember in our past video, we have shared how you can create a client promise. I mean the MongoDB adapter. So if you are new here, so you can watch the last videos and you'll find how you can create a client promise. So after that, we'll call the pages. Since we are using the custom page, we will assign the custom page here. And the secret key will call from there. The process.env and the secret key should be NextAuth secret. And also this is the development purpose. So let me check one thing inside the env file. Yeah, the .env is development. So to check the bug or error, or we can tell to NextAuth if they have any bug or error, they will show me if this is a production level, if this is a development level of work. So let's call the debug, and the debug should be, okay. If this project is under development mode, then the debug will enable, and if any error found, then the NextAuth will show the error in our client screen. So this is the perfect. Next, move our form where we implement the provider login. Here you can see this is our form. So I can share here when click on login. This is the form. Continue with GitHub and continue with Google. Okay. So in this function, we have calling a custom function which is called handle signin. From the button, when you click on the button will call the handle signin, and automatically the handle signin will call the signin function of NextAuth. So this signin function we have imported. Now we have to implement this handle signin with our button. So next, click on the button. Insert the on click. Provider, there should be name. And as you know, this is the general way to define a handler. But as you know, this button is coming from a child component. So we have to call this handler to insert the child component. So to do this, we have to call the button, and same time we'll open the button, and inside the button we'll call a handler, and there should be functional component, right, and handler, and inside the button we'll call on click the handler. Okay, and after that we can call there. I'll remove this, and handler should be this. Okay, there is an error. This error because of, I can see this component is rendering as a server-side component, so we have to call it as a client-side because we are using the button with handler function. So first we can use it as use client. Sorry, inside the button component as a use client. Yeah, and also I'm sorry, use client, same time use client. So yeah, you can see the error is gone. Okay, so our handler calling is completed, the button handle signin. So we can test it if it's working or not. Calling provider, login provider. Okay, so we can comment out this signin, and we can go to the console. Here you can see content GitHub. Okay, you can see the calling provider login GitHub and the calling provider login Google. So that means everything is working fair and lovely. So now we can uncomment this and comment out this, then try it. Continue with Google. I think we have to refresh it. No. Yeah. So guys, everything is perfect. Now Shandipan Bidash. Okay, so here you can see everything. Yeah, it's logged in perfectly. So now the question is how you can ensure the login, I mean the sign-in is really working or not. So there is a different way you can ensure the sign-in is really working or not. So first, very easy way is go to your go to your Chrome browser or any browser you are using, no problem, and memory application, and here you can see the session token and the callback, everything. Yeah, so by session token you can understand the user is already logged in. I mean, there is another way. Before that, I want to tell you NextAuth provide two types of rendering. Number one is server-side rendering and number two is client-side rendering. So we'll implement both of the rendering type, like server-side rendering and the client-side rendering. So first, let's see the server-side rendering. So to check the server-side rendering, let's move into the layout page. Inside the layout page, we will implement the get server session from NextAuth. This is called get server session, from NextAuth. And same time, we'll call here session, and this should be await. But before using await, since this is a server-side function, the root layout is a server-side function, so we can call async, and there then now we can use the await there. Session await, and we can call the get server session result API route here. So here is the auth option. We can call the auth option, and from auth option, the get server session will call the session. Yeah. Now we can console this. We found the session data. So let's move into the home page. I'll refresh it. Here you can see the session data. You see the session data is available, the name, this, and the email address and the image. So my friends, that's fine. Our Auth provider is completed. So even we have also set the server-side rendering from the NextAuth, and now we'll check how we can implement the client-side rendering with the NextAuth. So we can comment it out. We don't need this. And to render it into the client side, we have to print it different way. There is a technique. Since the Next.js automatically render all component in the server side, but we are going to implement the client side rendering for the NextAuth. So we can do a tricks. The tricks number one, we can call it context, which is like go to the SRC folder and inside the SRC, we can create a context inside the component or outside the component, no problem. So what we can do, most of the time, I define a context outside the component or inside the SRC folder. So there, write context, and inside the context, we can write like auth context. Okay, auth context should be fine. Yeah. So create a file auth context.tsx, and this should be a use client because we are going to use the client-side rendering from NextAuth. Okay, so fine. Now inside this component, inside this context component, we'll call the session provider from NextAuth. We'll import the session provider. Session provider from NextAuth. NextAuth React. I could just PROVID session provider. There is a mistake. I did type a mistake. The session provider should be start with capital letter. So we have added the session provider. Now inside the div, we don't need the div. We will call the session provider there. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. And go to the layout. After the body, before the header, and so we can call the session provider from there. And I'll print it, and inside the session provider, we will implement this from import session provider. We'll importing the session provider from auth context, and the context and auth context. Okay, so now we have implemented this session provider there. So what we can do, we have to pass these children, all of the children's component, the children's component via this session provider. So to pass all of the content via session provider, we can call as a children. Also, sorry, we don't need this, import this, and we can call there, this is children. And also we can no problem, I can call their children should be React and should be React Node. Just a minute, there is a mistake I did. Sorry, the button, the typo mistake. The children should be a small letter. CSIL, okay, children, they should be children. CSILDREN, children, yeah. Should be React Node, or my mistake. And there should be a second bracket. Yeah. So now we can use the session, you can see. So now we can, we are ready to use our client site rendering for the NextAuth. So let's print it. We can go ahead. Let's go to our dashboard to check this. Dashboard. And we can use this. This is the client site. Let's print it as a use client. We have printed as a use client. Now we can use the session constant. And there should be session as a session, and there should be use session. And we'll import this use session. No problem. We can import this, import use session, and from NextAuth. Yeah, okay. Maybe there is a type mistake. Use session. Use CSSI. Yeah, no problem. There is no typo mistake. And then what is the issue? Oh, sorry. I have to call there, right? This is a type mistake. I'm sorry for this. Okay, no problem. And now we can check it in our component. First, let's console it, then get the result. Go to the dashboard, and there is a result. You see our user information perfectly appearing, and we can print it there inside the dashboard page, like json.stringify session. Session, and the session is inside the user. Okay, session after user. So we can check, yeah, the session is perfectly working. There is no issue appearing. Okay, you see, our name is Chandipan, email, blah blah blah. So our NextAuth configuration is completed, and also we have tested the Google integration working perfectly. Let's remove the session, or let's integrate the sign out. We'll integrate the sign out here, profile and dashboard after sign out. Okay, so let's go to our navigation, primary navigation, hover card. Here we will show the sign out, sign out. Yeah, so it's appearing nice. I'll create the same link. Yeah. Sign out link is fine. It's not a link. This is a button. There's a button, and we also need this. Okay. Sign out, fine. Okay. Okay, you can see the profile dashboard and sign out. Okay, so we'll implement the sign out function from NextAuth. So to implement this, we will use an onClick event. Okay, we'll import the sign out from NextAuth. So the suggestion is not working, no problem. So move up and the import sign out from NextAuth. Okay. The sign out also is, we are importing the sign out perfectly. Okay, so here you will see a magic when you click on sign out button, application, and everything is perfectly working. Sign out. You see our session is removed from cookies, that even our data is not available there, and console also session is empty. So sign in and sign out is perfectly working with Google provider. Let's dive into the MongoDB and verify the data is receiving inside the MongoDB or not. So I'm going to log in my MongoDB account. Sign in. Okay, so there is our databases, and inside the database we'll click on the browse collection. So here, yeah, so our data is coming nicely. You can see the accounts, also the users. Yeah, so our MongoDB data receiving perfectly. So let me delete it from this end, from MongoDB, and we will test it on one more time using GitHub. Okay, so we have deleted this from MongoDB, and if there is any session, so okay, no session, perfect. So let's go to our app and click on the login, and we will click on login with GitHub. Yeah, authorized Shandi Dash, fine. Okay, so let's move to the dashboard, profile dashboard. Yeah, you can see the data is appearing nicely. Even if I go to the application, you can see the token is appearing. That means our logged in is perfectly working. So if I go to my MongoDB and refresh this page, I can refresh this from the accounts. Yeah, just refresh this page. We'll see what happening next. Yeah, go to our users. Yeah, see there is a session, new session is appearing there. Also in the user list of user, you can see the data is appearing there. So dear friends, if I sign out from there, from our app, go to application, and you can see instantly sign out, the token is deleted. So my friends, our real-time testing is completed. So that's it for today. We will learn how to implement the NextAuth authentication. We'll use the form, especially the login form. Here is the login form. You can see the email and password. Also, we will see how you can log in with only email. So my friend, thanks for joining today. If you still did not like this video or comment this video, you can comment if you have any questions or doubt, or if you have any trouble when you are testing this code, you can ask me, hi Sandeep, what is the problem? I will let you know if any bug or error in your code or my code. And thanks for today. And if you have not still subscribed, I highly recommend you. That will be a great pleasure for me if you subscribe my channel, and that will encourage me and to make new video for this channel to you. So thanks guys, thanks for everything. Have a great day. Bye bye, take care.